Thanks, Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. You know, weakness invites aggression. It's a historic axiom, and it's true. You look at Chamberlain going to talk to Hitler with a piece of paper that wasn't worth the paper it was written on. And we saw Churchill talk about appeasement and how that invites aggression. And then we had Reagan talk about peace through strength. Putin sees weakness. President Xi sees weakness. The Ayatollah sees weakness. And Kim Jong-un sees weakness. We have a weak president, and he's creating a very dangerous world. The disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan was the beginning of the end. Putin watched that, and he saw a weak and ineffective president. The waiver of Nord Stream 2 sanctions that we passed in Congress, bipartisan, by the way, to put congressional mandatory sanctions, this president waives them in the national security interest of the United States. Explain to me, Mr. President, how that is in our best national security interest, to allow Putin to complete his pipeline into Europe while he cancels the Keystone pipeline and all energy production in this country. Meanwhile, the sanctions exempt energy. 40% going into Europe, almost 10% into the United States of America. We are importing Russian energy. This needs to stop. We are funding Putin's war machine, and it's bad. 40 miles of tanks are lined up just north of Kyiv as I speak, getting ready to move in with these thermobaric bombs that suck the oxygen out of the air and inflame the lungs with fire. They kill children. It is actually, I believe, a war crime. These carve-out sanctions need to go. We need to get tough on this administration, get tough on Putin. Putin has blood on his hands, and it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. General Milley is correct. They're going to win, but they're going to lose in the end. We need to give the people of Ukraine, and we stand with the people of Ukraine here today, and we have a moral obligation. They're not a NATO ally, but we have a moral obligation to give them every weapon and every assistance we possibly can. This administration held up on the assistance that I signed off on in Congress in November, held it up. It's just now coming in. And now they're saying, well, after an invasion, that's more difficult. This is malfeasance, it's negligence, it's actually it's criminal. I want to leave you with a quote from a text from a Russian soldier who was killed, got a smartphone, and it was read at the United Nations by the permanent representative of Ukraine to the United Nations. It says, "I'm afraid." And it's a letter to his mom, a text to his mom. And it shows you how deceptive and what a monster Putin is. We're bombing all the cities together, he says, "I'm afraid," targeting civilians. We were told that they welcome us. They would welcome us, that we were liberating them. But they're falling under our armored vehicles, throwing themselves under the wheels, not allowing us to pass. They call us fascist. This is so hard. This is what's happening in Ukraine. You're not seeing the whole story. This is what's happening on the ground, and it's going to get a heck of a lot worse before it gets better. With that, I'm very honored to introduce to you a woman who's been through so much. She's from Ukraine. She has relatives in Ukraine. She hears the stories on a daily basis coming from Ukraine into the United States. Victoria Spartz.